Now we're going to use what we know about reaction types to help us predict the products. So we're going to get the beginning of a reaction, and we're going to have to figure out what happens next. So in this first one, I have lithium and nitrogen, and they are going together, and I'm going to figure out what they're making. So the first thing I need to know is what type of reaction it is to help me out. So I have one substance plus another substance. And if I look on my reactions type, my 5 reactions types down here, A plus B is going to form AB. So that means all I'm going to be doing is bonding these two things together in a synthesis reaction. In order to do that, I'm going to need to know the charges of the elements. So I'm going to need to look at my periodic table. And I'm going to need to know the oxidation numbers. So lithium is an element in group 1 on the periodic table, which means that it has a charge of +1. And if you don't remember how to get the oxidation numbers, I also have a video about that. I think it's under formula writing. And then I have nitrogen. Nitrogen is in group 15. And group 15 is going to be -3. So I'll have nitrogen with a -3 charge. Then I'm going to take those two numbers and I'm going to crisscross them. The 1 from lithium is going to come down here. If it's a 1, I don't have to write it. And the 3 from nitrogen is going to come down here. So my formula will be Li plus N2 forms Li3N. That formula is not balanced, so I would need to go back and balance it. If you don't remember how to balance, you'll want to watch the video on that. But the 3 next to lithium, I'm going to need 3 lithiums on each side. There's 3 right here, so I'll make 3 over here. That balances lithium, but right now nitrogen is not balanced. I have 2 on the left, only 1 on the right, so I will need a 2 here. When I put the 2 there, I changed my number of lithiums. 2 times 3 is 6, so that means over here I will need 6 lithiums. So 6 Li plus N2 forms 2 Li3N, and that is your balanced equation. This next one down here, I'm going to determine the reaction type again. So I have one substance plus 2 substances, A plus BC, according to my reaction types. That is a single replacement reaction, which means that I am going to produce AC plus B. And I will also want to check my activity series on this problem, since it is a single replacement. So I have magnesium, and so for A, I'm going to go ahead and write magnesium here. And that magnesium should be bonded with chlorine. And then I will have B, which is chrome by itself. On my activity series, what I need to see in order for this reaction to happen is that chrome has to be lower than magnesium on the series. So the element by itself has to be higher than the element we are trying to replace. So this is the activity series. It's on page 7 of your reference tables. Magnesium is right here, and chrome is right here. The element by itself, which was magnesium, has to be higher than the element that was already bonded in order for the replacement to happen. So this one would happen. Magnesium would go in and replace chrome. So now I'm going to need to find my charges and crisscross. Magnesium is in group 2, so it is going to get a charge of +2. Chlorine is in group 17, so its charge will be -1. I don't need a charge on the element that's by itself because it's by itself. So now I'm going to crisscross. The 2 from magnesium comes down next to chlorine, and the 1 from chlorine will come down next to magnesium. So that's what I have. Now I need to balance. This time I'm going to show you how to balance with the chart. So there would be lines before each one of those. And my 3 elements, magnesium, chromium, and chlorine. What I have on the left is going to be represented on the left-hand side of this chart. Everything I have on the right will be represented on the right. So 1 magnesium, 1 chromium, 3 chlorines. On the right, 1 magnesium, 2 chlorines, and 1 chromium. So the only thing I need to balance is chlorine. If I can't multiply and get 3 to become a 2, and I can't get 2 to become a 3, what I'm going to do is multiply the 2 together to get 6, which means I'll need 6 chlorines on both sides. So I'll find the chlorine on the left. 3 times 2 gives me 6, and that will update everything next to it. So this chrome will now have 2. Then I'll do the same thing on the right. To get 2 to become a 6, I need to multiply by 3. That gives me 6 chlorines and 3 magnesiums. And then I need to go and balance the other 2. So I'll put a 3 in front of magnesium and a 2 in front of chrome. You can balance however you like. This is one method. You can also do it in your head. So that's the balance equation. This next one, you have CO plus Br2, or cobalt and bromide bonded together. So I have A and B, and it's breaking apart. Remember that that delta symbol means we're going to have heat. That's a good indicator that this is a decomposition reaction. I also know that because there's no plus sign on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to break these 2 things apart by themselves. Easiest type of reaction to figure out, because all you have to do is split them up and add a plus sign in the middle. You do need to check your diatomic elements. So remember that anytime an element is by itself, you need to check and make sure it's not diatomic. There are 7 diatomic elements. They are hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, and bromine. So if bromine is by itself, it's going to need to have a little 2 next to it. And then we would need to balance. This equation is already balanced for us. We'll do one more. And this one more is C4H8 and O2 bonded together. If you have an O2 in the beginning of your equation, that means you're going to have a combustion reaction. So since I have a combustion reaction here, I can look at my list. If I had just one substance, then I would just combine the 2. But since I have something that has a C and an H, a hydrocarbon, that means I'm going to form CO2 and water every single time. Without a doubt, no questions asked. If there's a hydrocarbon in the beginning and O2, you're going to form CO2 and water. And then we will balance this equation. So CH and O. I have 4 carbons, 8 hydrogens, and 2 oxygens on the left. And on the right, 1 carbon, 3 oxygens. Those oxygens are split, and 2 hydrogens. So I will need, I can balance whatever I want first. I'm going to pick my carbon first. So I'll put a 4 right here, which balances carbon. It also changes my number of oxygens. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 gives me 9. Now I'm going to go and balance my hydrogens. I have 8 on the left, so I will multiply this one by 4 to give me 8 on the right. That also changes my number of oxygens again. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 4 gives me 12, which means I will need to multiply this one by 6 to get 12 on the left. And if you're still struggling with balancing, don't forget there's a video on that as well. Good luck on predicting reaction types. Remember that these 5 are your best friend. Make sure you take a look at those each time. That's how you're going to figure out the type of reaction. And then anytime I put 2 new elements together, I'm going to have to crisscross their charges.